Hi, this is Lou from Joypad, and I'm about to walk you through adding Joypad support to your Unity game. So the first thing we'll do is create an empty Unity project. And we'll just quickly build up a scene for us to use. Cube for our plane. Add a capsule for our player and a point light. Command-Shift-N gets us an empty game object called that player. Move the main camera and the capsule under that. Okay, when you download the SDK, you get these 3 folders. Make that these 3 folders, and these need to be dragged into your Unity project under the plugins folder. Let's do that. And if you already have an iOS folder under plugins, then you need to copy the contents of this iOS folder into your existing iOS folder. Okay, now we're ready to create a script to kick off the Joypad connection process. So call it Joypad Connect GUI. It's going to be a menu. Command-Shift-N gets us another game object. Call that Joypad menu. Drag your GUI script on top of the game object and double click on the script. We'll open up MonoDevelop. Okay, so now we're going to add a button that when you click on it, it will start connecting to Joypad. So the first thing we need to do is import the Joypad SDK. And we'll use the onGUI function to draw our menu. And I actually have this prepped up in my clipboard because it's kind of a lot of code. It's not very interesting. The two main API calls to notice here are these two: Joypad setup.controller layout equals something, and Joypad setup.start search. Before we kick off the connection process to Joypad, we have to specify what to display on Joypad. And that's what you do with this controller layout. We have to set that to an instance of a class called Joypad controller layout. And we'll build that up now. So let's do that in standard assets. Create a C# script called my Joypad layout. We'll just have a single static method that returns an instance of this Joypad controller layout. We can access this with anywhere in the game. Oops. Give the layout a name, call it my Unity game. And we're going to use an analog stick to move the player. But you can see here there are a few, these are the API calls that you use to add components to Joypad. You can get the accelerometer data, add analog sticks, buttons, and D-pads. Let's add an analog stick. Put it at 0, 70, 240, height and width of 240. The second parameter is this joy input identifier, and this is what you use to later on when you want to receive input from Joypad components, you specify which input you want, or which component you want using this input identifier. So we're going to name this analog stick 1. Okay, so now we're ready to use this. Joypad setup.controller layout equals our new custom layout, and we'll start the search. Now, once we start the search, this Joypad setup.connection status will return one of these 4 strings. It'll return idle, searching, connecting, or connected. And we'll just use that to display a status message. Okay, so let's open up Joypad on our phone. And we'll hit play in Unity. Hit the connect to Joypad button and start searching the network. It finds Joypad and it connects to it, and as you can see, it just has a single analog stick, and if you move the analog stick it doesn't actually do anything because we haven't wired up any of the input. So let's do that now. We'll create a second script called movement, and we'll drag that onto the player. Double click it, and in the update body we can get the position of the analog stick with joypad input.getPosition. So first we need to import the SDK, and then this will return a vector2, this joypad input dot, and you can see the other API calls that you can use. You can get the remote acceleration, you can get button state down or up, and you can get positions of the axes. So let's get the position of the identifier that we used earlier, which is analog stick 1, and we'll use that to construct our movement vector. That's going to be a vector 3, x, 0, and the y-axis on the analog stick will move forward and backward on the z-axis in our scene. So now we actually update the position of the transform. Multiplying the movement vector by the time between frames and a movement constant just to manipulate the speed. We'll set that as by default to say 20. Okay, so now if we hit play, fix our warning here, hit play, connect to Joypad, and as you can see, now I can move the capsule with the analog stick. There's no gravity or anything, but this is a really quick and dirty demo. So for a more complete example, you can see the project that comes with the SDK download is more built out. It has 3 different controller settings and gravity, and you can fire and stuff like that. So if you take a look at the example project, this My Joypad layout has 3 different settings. One moves your player with the analog stick, one with the accelerometer, and one with a D-pad. So take a look in there, and I can just show you quickly what this demo looks like. So as you can see, we rotate with the second analog stick, and we move with the first one, and can jump up and down with the jump button. That's it. Thanks.